live on Just Cool Radio. I'm
Good
happy.
evening,
Good
beautiful
evening.
people. Welcome back. Yes.
Marie, okay, I just went quiet there, you know. I mean, Marie just filled the gaps. Oh gosh, no, it is great. It's great. I'm happy.
We are blessed to be here. Another Thursday, the
Another
last
Thursday.
Thursday in the month. And I just want to say, first, Jordan,
Yeah.
on Tuesday, it was my eldest cousin, which is my uncle's first child, my big cousin, my mum's brother's son. Back in the day, people used to think that myself and my cousin, that he was my older brother.
Right.
So it was his birthday on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I just want to, I always say he's my favorite cousin.
Yeah.
I don't want my other cousins to feel like, oh, what about me? No.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that, because from my grandma on my mum's side, he's like the first out of all of us. And I've got so much love for him. So I just want to big up my cousin and say happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, cuz.
Yes.
For Tuesday just gone.
Yes.
Even though I was meant to message him on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But, you know, like being tired and you fall asleep.
Wait, you didn't message him?
I messaged him the next day.
Oh, glory. Yeah.
However, he knows I love him.
Yeah, he does.
And I know he loves me.
He does.
You know, like sometimes like I'll get a message like, "Who's this?" It's like your favorite cuz, you know that.
Favorite,
like,
yeah. You lot know the run-ins,
and it's like if I don't message him on Thursday morning, like reminding him about the show and what's going on regarding the show, he will message me.
Okay.
It's like, where's the morning message?
Yeah.
You know, so I just want to big up my cuz. I love you loads and happy belated birthday. I know
Big him up.
he will enjoy his birthday.
Oh, definitely.
He definitely will enjoy his birthday.
Wait, he's in Jamaica?
No, he's in England.
Oh, he's over here. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I gotta say, big cuz, Marie talks about you a lot. Yeah, and only says great things like frequently. Yeah, frequently. So big up yourself, man. Big up yourself.
Crazy.
It's amazing.
Obviously, he's been my cousin for how long? I've known for how long? And it wasn't until the other day we was out somewhere. I was like, cuz, you got nice eyes. And he started to blush a little bit. And
He's thinking, what? We've been
like cousins for how long?
for all our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just now
And you're just noticing now.
In our young age.
You know, yeah. I wonder how I'd feel about that. That's like, I can't. Yeah.
I just think as you get older, it's like you begin to pay attention to a bit more fine details.
The finer details.
And then another birthday that we have to bring forth today, we have to big up our producer who has placed this platform for us.
Yes.
Anton.
Yes.
For his birthday tomorrow.
DJ yes. I mean.
So we want to big him up for his birthday tomorrow.
Big up Anton,
so everybody,
man.
if you've got him on your social media platform, please send him some love tomorrow.
Yeah.
On his special day.
Send him some money, everything. Yeah. He is. Yeah, he is. He's non-stop. We asked him what's he doing for his birthday. He said working on the business. Yeah, drop a bomb, Anton. Yeah, because he said he's working on the business.
He's making sacrifice and determination.
100%.
For the business, and he's doing a fabulous job.
Amazing job.
Definitely.
You know when people are, engineering like something big, like a spaceship. Yeah. You don't always know who the captain is. You know what I mean? You don't know who the pilot is a lot of the time. You might hear the pilot's voice, but that pilot is flying the plane. You know what I mean? You might be too busy asking for a top up of something, to the air hostess them. Yeah. Too busy doing that. But the pilots are keeping you safe. Do you know what I mean? Flying the plane, and that is what Anton does, and we're proud of Anton. Anton does so many things behind the scenes for us,
So many.
You wouldn't even know. I think Marie and I are good people, but sometimes I think we are a bit we got room for improvement. You know what I mean? Anton sees with us. You know what I mean?
He does.
So big up Anton. You know what I mean? Definitely. So what a special birthday that will be.
For tomorrow, so please everyone.
For tomorrow,
big him up. Please, make him feel the love. The support.
That's for the Facebook live crew. That's for the Insta live crew. That's for the TikTok them, the YouTube,
Yeah.
everyone. We want to big up Anton. Funnily enough, yesterday was my auntie's birthday, my mum's sister. Shout out my second mum. You see,
Big up auntie on her birthday.
Auntie Debbie. So, want to big up my auntie Debbie. And you know what? Though this special guest hasn't been on our show yet, her dad was on the show last week. It was Chef Ricardo's daughter's birthday.
Yes.
And you know why I mentioned her? Because you see, like how you, Marie, mentioned Special K offered.
Yes.
Chef Ricardo mentions his daughter.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, some of the stories he comes out with, it just has us in stitches. Like some of the stuff she comes out with. So,
Want to big her
want to big her up as well.
On her
You know what I mean? A
birthday
lot
as
of
well.
special people in the month of June, you know. But speaking of special, Marie, how has your day been? Because I feel like it probably was. Well, you tell the people.
It was a very blessed and productive day today.
Yeah.
Just doing the mother duties as well. And then going to work. And then myself and Jordan were invited for lunch with Chef Ricardo. And we went to visit for the first time the Original Flavors restaurant in Brixton on Electric Lane.
Yes.
And I ordered a jerk salmon and chips. I was the last to finish my food because I had to take him the seasoning. I had to take in the flavors.
The original flavor,
and it's just, But saying that, before we come back to the Original Flavors, on Saturday, there was a school reunion. I used to go to St. Martin's in the fields.
You
know, like me and the ladies, we left like maybe like 2-3 years ago. You know.
That's it.
But it was lovely to meet up with the ladies,
the legends
from St. Martin's that were in my year.
That's right.
And I remember our form group was 7P. Our tutor was Miss Bentley. But it was lovely to see the ladies on Saturday. They all looked very vibrant. They looked so well. It was so nice to meet them. And speaking of food now. So we went to this place, this lovely new business. Which is called Stars Seashas Lounge and Bar. And it's on 262A Brixton Hill, SW2 1HP.
Say it again for them, Marie. Say it, slow it down.
Sorry.
So they can type it in the Google Maps quickly.
Yes, sorry. So it is Stars Seasha Lounge and Bar, 262A Brixton Hill, SW2 1HP. Now I want to big up Chef Kevin. You see when the food come out. And I had like rice and peas with chicken. See, when I start to sit down and eat that, the seasoning and the gravy, I was like, sorry, Chef Kevin, can I have a container? Because
was you embarrassed when you asked him for a container? Right?
No. I had to take the rest home.
Oh, wait. Okay. I get it. Okay. You ate some and then took the rest home. Okay, that's
but
different.
I
That's
knew
different.
where this was going.
I thought you meant you ordered your food and then finished your food and then asked the man for a container without ordering
you know what? I should have
a
done
new
that
batch.
still. However,
Oh dear.
I said to myself, do you know what? The way how I wanted to demolish the plate, it wouldn't look very good in public.
You got to do it at home.
Yeah.
Not especially for people you haven't seen for 2-3 years as well.
You still have to be ladylike.
Yeah.
So I said, Chef Kevin.
Yeah.
Beg your container, no?
Yeah.
When I went home, the microwave didn't see this to reheat it.
Yeah. Just eat it
I
cold.
sat down and ate that.
Boxed it cold.
So cold. It was not too cold, but it was alright.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm the tune on the bone because I had to get the rest of the gravy and the seasoning. I said,
So you ate that one knowing no one was around observing.
I couldn't let everybody
no
see
one
was
like
that. So I had to be like ladylike. You know,
them ones in private.
I had to do it in private.
Them private feasts.
Yeah. But I just want
that
to
is
big up
funny.
Chef Kevin.
Big up Chef
and I also
Kevin.
want to big up and a lot of respect to his partner, Corinne.
Yes,
And
yes.
Corinne and Natasha, they managed to get all of us lovely ladies together to come to the reunion. And as I said, I met a lot of the ladies I haven't seen for a while, and it was beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
Seeing all of them, they all look well. They look like, to me, it didn't feel like we left school.
Yeah.
2 years ago, you know?
Exactly.
But I just want to big up the chef.
Yeah.
Please, people, when you have an opportunity, go down to 262A Brixton Hill, the Star Seashore Lounge and Bar. The food is nice. Trust me.
Really making me go there tomorrow now. You know?
I'm coming from families they're very good at cooking. So I know people say they can cook Caribbean food. Some can when we're at home, but on a big scale, yeah, some of them not ready.
Because there's a difference.
There's a difference. However, Chef Kevin, big up yourself.
Quantity.
You're more than ready.
Quality and quantity, yeah?
And it's a business that is growing in our community.
That's right.
And with our program, we like to promote
That's right.
and encourage
That's right.
the businesses in our community. So please
That's
go and
right.
big up Chef Kevin, you know, and trust me, the 40thness, you know. Yeah. But it was nice. But going back to original flavor today. Well, I was Jordan. I was the last to finish. I was the last because I had to take in all of those, the seasoning, the jerk sauce. And it said like they made it from fresh and it's their recipe, and I was like, I need time to really think about the taste buds, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, Marie enjoyed that so thoroughly.
Yeah.
Us lot, we just got on with it. But I thought Marie was finished. I think every man was looking at their plate, not wanting it to run out. We're looking over at Marie and thinking, oh my gosh, got half a plate left. Like, you gonna finish that? Like she finished it, all right.
I finished it, but I had to take my time.
Yeah. No, much appreciation,
It was
man.
lovely.
It was.
So it was also as well,
It was.
you know, the original flavors in Electric Lane, just past, is it the Seashore Bar?
No, Satay.
Satay
Beside,
Bar.
Satay Bar.
So our beautiful listeners, if you get a moment, please check them out, as well as Chef Kevin up in Brixton Hill.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
won't be disappointed.
Definitely.
You will not be disappointed.
Definitely. And just big up Chef Ricardo as well one more time. I'll tell you why, because Chef Ricardo had a meeting with another serious chef as well. Yeah. And then Chef Ricardo was like, you know what? Let me bring you guys because I want to introduce you guys to him and liaise and let's start thinking big, you know. And it was absolutely amazing doing so. So I want to big up Matt,
Definitely.
Chef Matt,
Yeah.
on the 2023 Master Chef.
Yeah. Such a lovely young man. Lovely.
Yeah. Come down from Wolverhampton, you know.
Yeah.
Right down to the heart of Brixton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Came to support, and that's what I loved. You see, like how Chef Matt was going on, Matt Samuels. Yeah, it's like the chefs them have got their community. You know what I mean? And they liaise with each other and big each other up and stuff like that. And I thought for a man to come down from Wolverhampton to come to Brixton to, you know what I mean, try the restaurant out, I thought, yeah, man, proper. And you know what I mean, sit down with us, and it was proper. So
and I must say as well, we got served by, is it Sean from
yeah.
And that was lovely.
Big him up as well. Like that's what I was saying. Like I've got no objections to, you know, spending time with the chefs because you know they start bringing out, you know, the nutrition, you know, that's good for the body and good for the soul, good for the mind, you know. It's covering a lot of grounds, you know, all of this good food, you know. So big up all the chefs, man.
Well.
100%. It's just encouraging because at the end of the day, we've all got a story, and these chefs who we're mentioning are all coming from a very unique background, all different background, you know. So people must be thinking, oh gosh, why are they talking about food so much? But look, we're talking about well-being here. Yeah, because the theme we're talking about is well-being, and
as well as supporting the business in our community.
That is what I was gonna say next, Marie.
We're here to support one another.
That's the other side of the well-being as well. We want original flavors to stand and continue to multiply. We want Chef Ricardo to stand and multiply. We want Matt Samuels, Chef Matt Samuels, to take it to higher heights. Higher heights, because he's the fine dining. He's doing fine dining. Yeah, so private fine dining, corporate fine dining. You see how go on your Instagram, and type in Matthew Samuels, type it in on YouTube and see what he's up to. I see White Yardy's got a post with him. Just look him up, man. Look him up. You know what I mean? So it was amazing, and we had a very edifying conversation about well-being, and how we ought to be looking after the temple. So we are currently collaborating with a lot of these chefs, as we are trying to get them to educate us on simple ways of how we can nourish our bodies. That's good for our temples, whilst evening talks gives food for thought. So we're excited about these food collaborations, and
we're learning a lot for ourselves.
We're learning a lot for ourselves as well, and they're igniting a passion within us as well, like about the cooking. You know what I mean? And to take some time out to invest in ourselves in this fashion. So like for anyone out there who wants to get more involved in the cooking and stuff like that, like we're gonna be producing some good content for
Definitely.
that, so just stay with us, because people might be thinking that we're just here sat down in front of the microphones and stuff. We're gonna get hands on, you know what I mean? We're gonna bring some of the chefs in and get going with that, and look out for some other amazing interviews that are on the way as well. It's in the pipeline, you know what I mean? So we're excited. So Mari, you wanna kind of give us a little more insight of today's show, and the direction that we'll be heading in today, because again it's all about well-being, and we want you to engage with us, and we can also impart some knowledge and education, and perspectives. We want to offer some perspectives for our wonderful listeners to consider. So yes, Marie.
Definitely. So today's show, we'll be talking about bereavement, and as we've been looking at, we looked at a couple of weeks ago the well-being of your mind, your emotions, and then we looked at the health aspect last week with Chef Ricardo. So now we're going to look at bereavement, because that also can have an impact on our well-being. And it can have an impact on your body, your mind, all different aspects. So today we're going to have a look into that, and there's going to be a part in our show today that Jordan has got a particular expertise on when it comes to. Well, I'll tell you what, when we get to that side, I'll let Jordan go into it and expand. It's more for food for thought.
That's right.
And as you know,
right.
we're here to empower our community as well as give food for thought. Because there could be some things that Jordan would say today that you may have heard of, but you may not really have looked into it that much. So before we get into our topic today, we're going to have a song that's going to be played, and then we'll crack on after the show, or after the song, I should say.
Excellent.
Which song?
The Boyd Bennett one? Yeah.
This is why we love Just Cool Radio. Because oh dear. Whoa, whoa, la, hey, whoa, whoa, la.
that can liberate the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. Jah free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute they don't like you. Why try to make I unhappy? Really, I don't know. If it was up to them, my friend, we would never see the sun or the snow. Through that mystical communication within, we keep on coming together. I love to see brothers and sisters looking out for one another. That's the way it should be, not contrary. Stop tearing down each other. Only Rasta free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe 1 minute that they are with you. Jah free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. Our dogs won't do. You just behaving like they want you to, yeah. I say, arrogance is much different from ignorance, and I know you feel the same way too. Many live this life without having a clue. No reason why they are so sad and blue. Blessings to go, so much things to do. Not a moment to reflect on the cycle of life, yeah. Who free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. Jah free the people over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe 1 minute they don't like you. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard, yeah. Make them know we want go home and we hard. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. Let them know we want go home and we hard. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard, yeah. Let them know we want go home and we hard. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. Good God, we want go home. Only Rasta free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute that they are with you. Jah free the people. Those over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't they believe 1 minute they don't like you. Why try to make I unhappy? I don't know. If it was up to them, my friend, we would never see the sun or the snow. Through that mystical communication within, we keep on coming together. And I love to see brothers and sisters looking out for one another. That is the way it should be, not contrary. Stop tearing down each other. Look around, who free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't believe for a minute they don't like you. Jah free the people. Over hills and valleys too. Don't let them fool you. Don't they believe 1 minute they don't like you.
We're back.
Yes, we are back.
Yeah, nah, them tunes there, you know, Budgie, you know, yeah, that tune's hard. Hills and valleys, yeah, man, it just, yeah, brings back memories from my childhood. The tune there, you know what I mean, big tune. But yes, Marie, where are we at right now? Where are we at right now?
So, our topic today is bereavement. Now, you know, when I was younger, Jordan, I remember we was going to loads of like family functions, loads of weddings, But as I've become an adult, I must say I've been hearing more of people that are not far from who I know who are passing. Whether it's someone who I may have gone to school with, primary school with, or someone that you know of.
Yeah.
So it's like you're hearing more of a loss more frequent now.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is something that we should discuss today on this show.
Definitely.
Because there's so many people that you hear of that, oh, do you know such and such? And you're like, oh, yeah, I remember that. How
Yeah.
do you know X, Y, Z happened to them? And it's like, when you hear this as the family, a close relative, or even a friend or someone who knows them, how do we deal with that bereavement? How do we deal with the grief? Is there a date, a period of time where you should be grieving or feeling, however the remorse that you're feeling of losing that loved one?
Well, I think for the family members, a lot of the time they don't usually have a period of, like an ideal period of grief. Yeah, because people will usually say, oh, grief gets people in different ways. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days. But if you are working for a company, for example, they might not be trying to hear you're grieving for a long time.
Yeah.
They'll give their condolences, and pat you on the back and say they're sorry for your loss, but gonna need to snap back and start functioning before these lot wanna call you into a meeting for taking off time and talking about extended time off and all that. Oh, I just can't, I'm just crying, I'm bawling my eyes out. You might be bawling your eyes out. What you're telling the manager, you're bawling the eyes out. They're thinking, well, someone needs to do this shift, B. So, you know what I mean? Like, I hear that, but gotta get back to work. So it just depends on who is overseeing the grief, because if you're not in that kind of situation, then you can kind of take your time, you know what I mean, and process it how you might want to process it. But sometimes work ain't really feeling that kind of stuff.
But then sometimes it's all like even your family or close friends, remember we are all different individuals. So for example, if I had to deal with a bereavement, my way, Jordan, how I may deal with it can be different to you.
100%.
And however you choose to do it, or however I choose to do it, I feel as an individual, it's not my place to say, well, come on, Jordan, why are you not crying yet? Because everybody deals with their emotion in different ways.
Definitely.
And I feel that when you are going for a bereavement, no one can say to you, well, it happened like 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. No one should be able to tell you how long. How long. If anything, if someone sees that you are deteriorating, where you're like losing yourself, they might be like, come on, let's try and get a little bit of balance. Cool. But how you deal with your bereavement, your grief, is going to be different, and especially with the relationship you had with the individual.
Definitely.
As well. And I don't feel that anyone should say, well, it's been like 12 years now, get over it. No, because that is a loss, and that relationship you have with that person, everybody's going to feel it differently. So, Jordan, would you like to define the difference between bereavement and grief? Because sometimes I think we may sometimes get the two confused.
Definitely, I think that's definitely something that happens. Yeah. I'll start with the bereavement. Yeah, so this is just one that we looked at online, saying researchers have suggested that the term bereavement be used to refer to the fact of the loss. The term grief should then be used to describe the emotional, cognitive, functional, and behavioral responses to the death. So bereavement being the fact that something's happened. So when someone goes, "Oh, I've had a family bereavement," or we've had a bereavement in the family. So we understand what's
really,
happened. Yeah.
You're defining to people who are outside of
Yeah.
your immediate family that
Yeah.
there has been a death
Yes.
in the family.
Yes,
So that
yes,
will be
yes.
classed as the bereavement.
Yes. The fact of the matter
Yes.
that, you know,
there has been a passing.
there has been a passing. Someone is no longer with us. You know,
Yes.
that's the kind of thing it is. Whereas it says the term grief should then be used to describe the emotional, cognitive, functional, and behavioral responses to the death. That's what the grief is. And that is very, very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Even if you look at the word grief itself, it says intense sorrow, especially caused by someone's death. Yeah, so you got like sorrow, misery, sadness, you know. In that sense, we're not talking about grief as in like annoyance, like someone's
Or the
annoying
anger
you,
aspect.
someone's getting on your nerves, like, oh, she's giving me grief, like
Yeah.
giving me grief, she ain't like not like that. We're talking about grief as a response to death. And I feel like people's responses to death, as in the emotional, you know, the functional, the behavioral responses to death, change depending on the type of death, you know, and who actually passed away.
Yeah.
So
Because sometimes in the midst of the grief, it can cause people to probably act out of character that they probably wouldn't normally. So sometimes you might see someone who can normally be quite reserved and quiet become quite angry and might want to be quite aggressive towards others because of the emotions. And sometimes when you're going through grief, you may not always know how to manage your emotions because these emotions that are coming out of you that you wouldn't normally deal with on a day-to-day basis. In life, sometimes we do go through various emotions, whether it's happy or sad. That, well, I would normally say the sad aspect that on a regular day you wouldn't deal with it. So when you have to, or you're going for a situation and you've got to deal with that, it can throw you because you might think, well, it's making me feel like I want to cry and I don't want to show that emotion, so you suppress it and then it could turn into anger. So it's finding a way how to express without it changing your behavior.
you know what, just before you said that, yeah, Marie, I had a thought of when I was talking about types of death. Yeah, let's actually, before I even say what I was going to say, let's look at the types of death. So you can have someone who may be elderly, for example, you know, as they have started to climb in age, perhaps you know, they're with the wear and tear, you know, the scientific aspects of the fact that their body has aged, you know, perhaps their organs are not working as strong or functional as they did once upon a time, you know, things like that. You've got that type of event of death. You've got accidental death. That is a different type of death.
So that's a different kind of emotion.
Different kind of emotion.
Yeah.
Because an accident is an event, usually an unfortunate
An
event.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there could be lower impacts or major impacts to when an accident happens. Like a few weeks ago, I spoke about having an accident, like on my bike, and thankfully I was okay.
Thank God.
And there was no long-term injuries or life-changing injuries. But if I had an accident that gave a life-changing injury or a long-term injury, that alone would cause grief to people around me, because it would be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this has happened to Jordan. God forbid. Do you know what I mean? If I passed away in an accident, God forbid, that would then bring another emotion around, because it's like, what? Do you know what I mean? It's more of a shock kind of thing. Like, what do you mean? I just spoke to him a minute ago.
I was just on the phone with him like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Look at my phone. He's the last person I spoke to.
Yeah. So accidental death is not nice. In that regard. Yeah. I've heard of a few people drowning. For example, I know a few people who have actually drowned, but they didn't plan to drown.
Yes.
Like, how it happened is how it happened, but it's mad. They didn't plan to drown. Do you know what I mean? Then it's like, but where was the lifeguards? Where was it? Like, do you know what I mean? You start thinking of things like that. Then you gotta also think about unfortunate event of someone taking their own life. Suicide. Yes. That's a different type of grief, especially if you're close to the person,
because it can bring like different emotions. You could have a bit of guilt.
Oh, I should have saw the signs. I should have called her.
Or I saw a missed call because I was so busy.
I
was gonna call him, but my phone died. There's different levels to it.
People start feeling guilty because they were living their own life and not recognizing that someone who appeared to be so okay and stuff like that, why would they take their own life? That is a different type of grief.
And there's another grief that I feel that some women can be able to relate to, is having, some women may have like a stillborn, or like some could be pregnant for maybe 4, 5, and then go for a scan and say, oh, I'm sorry to tell you that your child hasn't got a heartbeat. And you could be thinking, but did I do something wrong? Did I eat the wrong food? Did I jump too high?
100%.
You know,
100%.
Was I not active enough?
100%.
There's just different ways of
100%. 100%. That is a different type of grief, and
I think that one, I'm not saying grief in itself is not, I'm not disregarding other levels, but I think sometimes for a woman who has been carrying a child, your body's going through the motions, and then to go for a scan, and then they tell you that, I'm sorry to tell you, your child doesn't have a heartbeat. For a woman, remember, you're still carrying a child, and then you're gonna have to go through having birth, giving birth to a child, and when you leave the hospital, you're not leaving with a child. That is a whole different emotion. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the men do not feel it as well. I'm not saying that, because they do, because that's part of them as well.
And supporting their wife.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the other thing, supporting their wife through that emotion.
Yeah.
And wanting to carry the burden too, like in the sense that it's like they need to, like they know that they can't help in that situation. They can't share the pregnancy at that moment in time, or share the actual physical pain or whatever, because that is what the lady's body is going through at that time. So it's very, very, very serious. Sorry, I thought we had a comment, but it's not. Okay, cool. Another type of grief is when someone's life is taken. Like that is a different kind of grief, because it's like you don't have the right to take someone's life. Like, but the thing is, it's like that one day, we're not talking about the scenarios too much, because some people are like, yeah, well, they deserved to die or what have you. And it's funny because that person, okay, one person could have violated another person, yeah? Like, let's say person A has violated person B, and person A's violation to person B was bad. Yeah. Person B would forget that person A's got children, they've got a mother who loves them, like
Nieces,
they've got nieces and nephews, extended family,
Yeah.
like neighbors, like everything, down to pets, like anything, like, do you know what I mean? Like whatever it could be, that person's got their life planned ahead of them. That person's, you know, hands are in certain pies, you know, trying to better themselves and whatever, but they violated person B, and person B does not care about anything that person A has got going on in their life, because they're saying this is not a violation that we are going to let slide. We're not letting this one slide. It's an air tune now. And then they eliminate the person. The grief that causes, especially if, for example, you was meant to meet up with a person, yeah, and you said, you know what, better you go on your own and then I'll meet you there, or something like that. And then person A has gone on their own, person B sees them and then gets on with it. If you phoning person A and they're not picking up the phone now, you're thinking, oh, that's weird. Like, we had a plan.
Yeah.
But now the plans have changed. Because now they're no longer here because person B took their life. That's a different type of grief, because that guilt that starts to come in at that moment in time, if that guilt isn't controlled, that will cause a whole lot of issues, depression, trauma, anxiety, so many things,
Or
and
even sometimes
blame.
retaliation as well.
Oh
Which
yeah,
everything's just going to escalate, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, because in the moment adrenaline's high. Yeah, adrenaline is running high in the sky. Like, what do you mean they took person A's life? And at that moment, they don't care about their own life because they're just thinking, we need to fix this situation. Do you know what I mean? So that's another type of grief. Again, like sudden, someone passing away suddenly, like in their sleep, like they've gone to sleep, didn't wake up. What? What do you mean? You know what I mean?
In saying that, Jordan, the job that I do, I just took this was like last year. I took 2 weeks. No, I took actually quite a month off actually. I need some time to rest. But before I did, I always see this man who'd be like, hello, my lady. You know, just such a pleasant guy.
Pleasant, yeah.
And then, so as I went back to work, I just saw, just going about my business, I saw there was these, the flowers that you get at a funeral. That had his name on it. So I wasn't confused. So I happened to see his partner and I said, what's this? And she said, my partner, she was in Spain at the time. My partner, normally he's an early riser and he died in his sleep. I said, what? I said, I just saw him the other day. I literally saw him the other day. I was like, wow.
Yeah. It's deep. All of these, and we're only mentioning, people might be thinking, why are they talking about grief so much? Like, we're just talking about food. Yeah. But remember,
part of the well-being.
We're talking about, we're on the theme of well-being. So we want to cover the topics that sometimes are not being covered. Yeah. And we want to say to the people who may be experiencing grief, we're here with you.
Yes.
Yeah, we're here with you. And we want people to know that, because at the end of the day, we're here to serve our community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've spoken to people recently and not so recently as well. And they would say to you that someone who passed away that was very close to them, it's been 10 plus years and they're still dealing with that grief. And it's not something that, just because a couple of years have gone on, you might see the person smiling, getting on. There's a void.
Yeah.
There's a void. And I don't know, as time goes on, you get on with your life, of course, but you're always going to have a memory of you might see something, go, that reminds me of such and such, or it brings that back. The memories that you did have with that person, and to know that they're no longer here. You could be scrolling through your phone and see their name. Press it. If it was in Jamaica, somebody else has got that number. you know. But unfortunately, over here, it might just ring out. It might just be disconnected.
Yeah. 100%. There's so many things to think about. The other thing to think about as well is like when someone you know has passed away in a tragedy, like a bomb has gone off. Grenfell Tower.
Yes. Remember a couple of years ago when there was a bomb that went off in Brixton as well? And you know, saying that, Jordan, something said to me, I'll just go into Brixton early that day. And the time that it was by the Iceland, I remember the time it went off would normally be the time I would have been at that bus stop with my kids. And I was like, wow.
You see the 9/11, yeah, September the 11th in New York. My auntie was there the day before, you know. Not my black people auntie, my mum's sister. Not Auntie Debbie, the one who I just the one that's younger than Auntie Debbie. She was in the I'm not saying she was in New York. She was in the Empire State Building the day before it collapsed. And I knew another man that was there, a little extracurricular club I used to do when I was little. One of the coaches, he was there the day before as well.
Wow.
Day before. Never forget the man's face. I've never seen him like since I was a child, but his name's Michael. Never seen him again. White guy, nice guy, man, nice guy.
But
nice
even
guy.
that,
He was
there's a
there the day
reflection
before.
like he was there the day before. You know, what if he was there and I know him, and you know, it's all
That
this,
would have mashed up the kids.
Yeah.
Because he was like a man that proper, like, was impacting our lives, like teaching us and encouraging us and helping us build confidence in the extracurricular class and them kind of thing there. You know what I mean? And you just think to yourself, do you know what I mean? Because it's like, you're grieving, but so are so many other people.
Yes.
Like at the same time, because, you know, especially when there's like rubble and stuff like that, and then, you know, you're going to look, people's firefighters and that, they're going to look through rubble. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, like
and sometimes even in the midst of the rubble, not everybody's found.
Not everybody's found.
Not
So
everybody's
even
found.
that as well is a next thing.
Because sometimes you could hear that you have a bereavement in the family, and you may not even be able to have a funeral.
Yeah.
Because the body cannot be
There's no
located.
remains. There's no remains.
There's nothing.
There's no remains. There's no remains. So again, different. You know what's deep, yeah? I wasn't even gonna say this, but I have to say it just to emphasize to the people, yeah, about how real this is, yeah. Like 6-7 weeks ago, I lost my brother, yeah. My brother-in-law, but it's basically my brother, yeah. He's been in my life when I was 4 years old, yeah. Man raised me, yeah. Now, a few days after, or a few days before, how did it go? No, I think it was a few days before. A few days before I lost my brother, a man I know, a pastor, you know. Pastor Moses, yeah. Serious man, you know. Proper nice guy. Humble. He's from Kenya, yeah. Him and his wife. His wife is beautiful. She's just one of them people that she don't have to say anything. Her just being quiet is comforting you because her soul is just so pure, yeah. Just pleasant. You know, like you see someone like that, you just respect them because she's just so pleasant. Do you know what I mean? I heard, I believe it was a few days before, Pastor Moses' family was in a car crash in Kenya. I didn't even tell you this, Marie.
Wow.
True to, you know, because obviously I was going through what I was going through in my family. Didn't even tell you this. 5 of them, no one survived. Car crash. So I'm in my head, I'm like, bro, like I just lost my brother. in my head, I'm like, right, Pastor Moses has lost his mum. His mum was in the car, you know. 5 family members lost in one go.
That's a different level of grief. Yo. That's different levels of grief.
Like,
that's more than saying, "Oh, my condolences." That's different levels. That's a different level.
Listen, my nephew, my eldest nephew, yeah, the champ.
Yes. That the youth, the normal, you know, that the youth there.
Yeah. It's not normal. It's not normal. Champ went to go check one of his brethren, yeah, because his brethren lives in Manchester now. But my man come down from Manchester, so he's gone round there to go and check the family. But imagine he's gone round there and his brethren had popped out. His brethren weren't there. So it was just the boy's mum there, yeah? And she's like, because my nephew, he always used to stay around at their house. So his mum is like, that friend's mum is like a mum to my nephew, same way, you know
like
what I mean?
Like a second mum.
It's like, yeah, because one of his best friends. And she was just like, she don't have the words. And he was like, look, Mum, I hear you, yeah? But there's people going through worse. He goes, I just lost my dad, but there's people who's going through worse than me right now. And the woman's blinking. Yeah, blinking. Because she's like, how can the man be saying there's people out there going through worse? You just lost your dad. He goes, well, you know what happened to Pastor Moses? He lost 5 in one go, including his mum. And the woman was just like stunned. But she don't have no relationship with Pastor Moses. She'd never heard Pastor Moses' name before, like, my nephew mentioning the scenario to her. But it made her think, wow, she's looking at the champ now like, he's only 22. But my man's perspective is, you know what, I understand.
Yeah, he's 22 in age. I always say this to Jordan. We must say it, the champ, yeah?
What a guy.
He is 22 in age.
Yeah.
Mentally, he's like 50.
Yeah.
That's why I say he's not normal.
He's double his age, man.
Yeah,
he's double
he
his
is.
age. Guy's not normal.
No,
But
he isn't.
it's how he said it to her, Marie. He goes, Mum,
And I know he said it with
yeah,
with
with
that reassurance.
with the strength in the voice.
Yeah, that's what I probably be like. I wouldn't, because I kind of know.
Yeah. But she was just stunned because, you know what it is? With the process that my brother was going through, because you see, the other thing is that we didn't get to cover yet was grief through sickness. Yeah, I mentioned the old age at the start, but grief through sickness, especially long-term sickness. But in my brother-in-law's case, in my brother's case, it was that he heard in November 2022 that they found XYZ going on within his body. And May 2023, 6 months later, he's had a cardiac arrest and he's passed away. At home. Yeah? You're trying to process the news that they gave you in November whilst trying to combat it at the same time. Aggressively. The research that you're doing, the amount of second opinions you're trying to get, you're trying to speak to other doctors, you're doing a lot to try and take control of the situation. But when the situation is becoming something devastating, you're like, oh my days, like, God, like, you're praying. Yeah, like, you're getting other people on the case praying. Like, the investment that you're having, like, in that moment in time is nuts. The commitment. So when, for example, certain times, you know, when I'm coming to the radio, Marie's coming to the radio, we're coming to do our evening talks, people don't understand Marie.
Yeah.
You see us here today, you know, like, you see us here today, yeah? Because even today when, what's it called? was getting ready to go to meet Chef Ricardo. Them, yeah. I goes, Marie, what colour are you gonna put on today? Goes, I think I might wear white with colours or whatever. I'm like, Marie, I ain't got no white, blood. Yeah, I ain't got no white. Hey, I ain't got no white. I looked at my wardrobe and I see this top head. I said, bro, you know what?
We're rocking this
yeah.
one. Yeah.
But you know what it is? You see today, Brie, yeah? See when I was walking like on my way there and that, yeah? Like, cause after. Nah. Yeah, after we finished with them and we all parted ways. Yeah, people looking at me, you know, and I'm thinking, I'm looking around like, me? Like why are people looking at me today? But I don't know what they were looking at.
Did I recognise you, Jordan?
Bro, I don't know.
Because you know everybody, Jordan, but you don't know nobody. Oh, I think I know them.
I saw a bag of people today that I didn't expect to see. Do you know what I mean? Just in passing. Do you know what I mean? And that was nice. You know what I mean? But strangers I'm talking about were looking at me. Like I can see like they were staring, looking. I'm like, okay. Like I didn't like, but look, you know what I mean? I don't know what they were looking at, but anyway, they were looking. And then I thought to myself, these lot ain't got the foggiest. Yeah? Because some looks was like, oh, like, it's like, I could see where some people's eyes were. Like, I know some people were looking like maybe like at my beard or were like in my face kind of, you know what I mean? And whatever. Anyway, look, people were looking at me today for whatever reason, yeah? But in my head, I'm thinking, if only you knew what I'm going through, blood. You're looking at me, you, I don't know what you're thinking, but you don't even know what I'm going through right now. Yeah.
And that's a lot of and that's a lot of things. That's like in our community. It's like I was having a conversation with one of the young ladies at the reunion, and we was mentioning about a young lady we used to go to school with, and I was aware of some things, but when they actually broke it down to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how in depth it was. And you know, this is why on our show we are talking about things that we are going through as individuals.
We're going through
because people are going through so much in their personal lives that you may not want to say anything, but we all know. No, we don't all know, but we are going through something.
We're going through things.
So we can understand.
We're going through things.
We may not have the answers or anything like that, but we're aware.
We're going through things. Like, Marie, you see when we was on our way, to the restaurant, I saw a couple people looking at us as well, like, wonder where they're going. Like, they had that look. Some people had that look, like, wonder where they're going. The sun's beating and we're wearing the white and like obviously people's looking, you know what I mean? Skin's glistening and them thing there, you know what I mean? Yeah, beard shining. Yeah, they could, you know what I mean? Walking past, they could smell the cologne. Yeah, they could smell the perfume, you know what I mean? They know what's going on. Like, these lot are going somewhere. But I just thought to myself, boy, Marie, only if these lot knew, boy, certain things that we're facing behind closed doors. Yeah. So back to what I was saying about the process when you're going through the process of grief that you're going through when someone is ill and they're not improving, or they're making little improvement and then they're like relapsing. Like, do you know how frustrating that is for the brain, bro? Like, you're trying to do everything you can in your power, and it is still not working, bruv. Like, that is mad. Then you start thinking, like, God, can't let this happen, you know. You can't, fam. Like that's what I was saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, God is God, and God, you know, will allow certain things for whatever reason. Sometimes we'll never know why God allows certain things.
Because you know what, Jordan? You see, with God, our thoughts are not his thoughts.
That's it.
He knows why.
That's it. You'd never know. And the thing is with me, the reason why a lot of people would argue that, like, someone like myself and the champ haven't like processed what's gone on with my brother-in-law, and that's his dad, for example, is because of how strong they've seen us. When I'm talking about from when we started the show, from when we started Evening Talks 3 months ago, I was getting through some of the most tormenting sights. But people wouldn't know. When I'm saying torment, I don't think if people not listen, when you hear and see, that your loved one has got cancer, and it is spreading around the body at a rapid rate, spreading like wildfire.
And you remember how they used to be.
And you remember how they used to be, and then now you can see what's going on,
Yeah.
You're like, what's going on, blood? I remember I told you people, listeners from around the globe, this is my big brother, you know. I had to put the man in the bath. Yo, I don't think these are understand. Like.
So your relationship with your brother, I'm not going to call you your brother-in-law.
Yeah, that's it.
Because we've gone past
brother.
that.
He's my brother.
Yeah. Your relationship was different. It's different. You had a close bond with him.
Yeah.
When he was at his weakest, his lowest, as they would say, you had his back.
Yeah.
So that was like a different level to your relationship with your brother now.
Yeah. People don't know the sacrifices that goes into it. You know what's mad? Before we heard he was going through XYZ. Like I wanted to like change job. Like I wanted to like do something else. But where I was currently working, it was like quite flexible, so I can attend to the situation with my family. And I'm just like, oh man, because it's like I can earn more if I leave. Because in my head, I'm like, I need more money so I can help in the situation more. Those are the kind of things you're thinking. But you wouldn't have the
time.
But I wouldn't have the time.
Like
so
how you had the time.
This is what I'm weighing up now. This is my hedonic calculus. Do I spend less time with him to make more money so I can fund more things, or do I stay at the part-time and have more time to actually physically be there? Like, as a man, it does really rock your brain because
it's like a tug of war.
It's a tug of war. Men are providers. And remember, this is not something that we've planned. Like, no one plans to get ill. Nobody and does. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there'll be bare times my brother-in-law will be like to me, oh, Jay, can you go shop and buy this? Or I'll phone him and be like, right, what do you need me to get? He's like, yeah, I'll give you back the money. What?
We don't.
Let's just forget that. Yeah. You're not giving back no money.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You just need to relax.
You just need to, yeah.
And, just relax right now. Don't worry about that.
But give me back the money.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the money adds up. It adds up. Yeah. So as well is that in your brain you're like raw, like because you're spending like when you're trying to combat hay fever, you can have one of Chef Ricardo's remedies. When you're trying to, combat that, you can have a little hay fever tablet for argument's sake. If the little youth's got like a cold, you can give it something that's gonna help, like a cough mixture or whatever. You can do
boil up something.
You can boil something. You can, if you don't have the medicine and you're doing natural, you're doing herbs, you can give them something that's gonna help this here and now. When you're finding out, that someone you love is going through something so aggressive, you're not finding out at the beginning. You're finding out, wow, it's aggressive. You're finding out when it is gone past that sandtimer stage, basically. That's when you're finding out. You're not combating this with cowpole, bruv.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So the grief process is already trying to grip you, and you have to remember, you can have the emotion of grief, but then what you have to be aware of is the spirit of grief. I could not allow the spirit of grief to grip me. there's too much work to do. If the spirit of grief grip me when I'm nursing, helping look after my brother-in-law and doing whatever,
You wouldn't be able
myself,
to help him. You
you
wouldn't have the
wouldn't
strength.
be able to because you've given up.
Yeah.
So
you'd just be too emotional.
you're too emotional, so you're not gonna be thinking along those lines.
And you wouldn't be able to even encourage or even, like how, have a laugh and a joke with your brother, just to kind of, a little joke, just to lift him up that day. And those things,
you're not gonna,
you wouldn't understand are very beneficial.
Of course. And the thing is, when you're going through those kind of processes, and the person hasn't given up, who are you to give up?
Yes.
It's mad when you're going through that process with your loved one and your loved one's given up. You have to try and encourage them not to give up every day while they're still alive.
But when they're not, then you've got to be on the same one accord with them.
You got to be on one accord. You got to be on one accord. Like, my brother-in-law is going through cancer. Like, we're fighting cancer. So, some people are like, oh, Jordan, I've not seen you for a long while. Or I've seen you for ages. Or whatever. I'm like, I'm just with the family, Like, I'm just keeping it brief. Because I'm thinking, you can't help. Like, you can't help. Like, some people could help in one way or another. But if I know you can't help, what am I discussing this with you for? Because it takes energy to even explain.
And where you're trying to keep your spirit up and not have the spirit of grief.
Exactly.
You don't need, I'm really sorry for you.
Exactly.
You need to you need everything inside of you now to stay strong now. As well as being strong for
your family. Yeah. People start coming and tell you all kinds of stuff like, my friends, like they had it, he's gone in 6 months, like it's gone in. Like, do you think I need to hear about your brethrens, whoever, RIP to them? Do you think that I want to hear that they were gone in 6 months, blood? Yeah.
No, we don't want to be hearing.
Like, I don't want to be hearing that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And my approach at the time was just like, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry, sorry to hear that. But he's gonna be okay, because you have to be like that. You have to be like that. You absolutely have to be. Anyway, fast forward. On the day when he passed, it was a very normal day. And he had a cardiac arrest. The heart was under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. He had a cardiac arrest. Heart problems are dear to me because, for those of you who've been following us from episode 1, from the early stages of, when we first started doing evening talks, I've spoken about my own health issues with my heart. You know what I mean? I had a mild heart attack when I was 24. Do you know what I mean? And that was not an easy situation. So when I hear about people having heart problems, I'm always keen to find out what's going on, see how I can help them, see how I can advise them, and stuff like that from my own experiences and some of the research that I've, researched as well. So it's like, there's a spirit that you have to have. There's a spirit of fight that you have to have, like, going through these kind of situations. You know what I mean? But as I said, he's had a cardiac arrest and then he's just gone. It doesn't even feel normal because you're like, what? Like, you know what I mean? So the shock, if we're going back to the grief and stuff like that, people who came around who were shocked, it's like they were almost, I don't want to say trying, but it's like they almost were transferring their grief onto me. Oh my God, like and you know what I mean? And in the embrace, they're coming with their crying and all that kind of stuff, which is obviously natural. It's a natural emotion. That's what I
was going to say as well. When, just in society and in life, once we hear of a passing, that's the first thing that someone's going to say, oh, I'm really sorry. My condolences to you and your family. Yeah.
That's the first thing. But you see, because my brother was such a loved man, it's not
very
too bad.
Very loved.
It's not too bad.
So I just want to emphasize I didn't know brother-in-law. However, when we've done our first episode here, he helped to put some of the media stuff together for us.
But
when we attended the funeral, I was like, wow. Wow.
That's the thing. I say, imagine the man's in like the final stage of cancer, and he's still helping me and Marie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? That's just a testament. You know what I mean? I'll speak about him more because, to be honest with you, another way of, you know, processing bereavement a lot of the time is to honor that person with your own life.
Yes.
So you see, like the conversations that he and I were having, he was like, look, Jay, you've taken enough time out helping me. You have to remember you have your own purpose to fulfill.
Wow.
Yeah, you have and I'm thinking, like, I want to tell it to shut up, yeah, because I'm thinking like,
But what's going on with you?
yeah,
We're here for
like,
you right now. That's
man's
important.
destiny and, you know, where I'm going is intertwined in with yours.
Yes.
Yeah, like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's the kind of spirit that we have because we got that togetherness. Do you know what I mean? But he's saying, yeah, I heard that, but you have to do what you can for you. Like, so he always was bigging up evening talks. He was always bigging up Marie, and, you know what I mean, us doing our thing, because he's just like, I know you're only like in gear 1 right now. Like, you're not showing people your potential. Like,
Yet.
you're not yet. Yeah,
Yet.
that's what he's basically saying. Yeah, that's what he's basically saying. Like, yes, you're doing the show and but what you have inside of you, what you have to actually display, it's leaps and bounds ahead, basically. So you need to remember that, and where you can do a bit more, just do a bit more. I know it's hard, but do a bit more. That's the kind of stuff the man's saying to me. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I'm gonna be all right. Like, obviously, I'm like, once I'm through the other side, once we get the all clear, and then like, that's how man's talking, and we believed him. Yeah, and people thought we were nuts. And anyone who thought that I was on drugs, yeah, because I thought he was getting the all clear, yeah, then I'll just arms reach, yeah, arms reach, because I can't be around anything that's not on what we're on.
But you know what that's called? Faith.
Oh, come on.
The Bible
Oh,
says
Gary.
if we have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move a mountain.
Preach.
So the fact is that you had faith.
Preach.
So
Yeah,
no
yeah,
matter
yeah.
how he looks now, God is not done.
Yeah. And the other thing that is serious as well is that we know people who were in the same situation as him. Yeah. And they come true and all clear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I've seen people be at stage 3 cancer, stage 4 cancer. I've heard people that, you know, the doctors have said, yeah, you're going to die. Like, they've given a prognosis and said, yeah, you got 6 months, you got a year, like, whatever. And these people are fine and dandy today, years later, plural, and not had a return of the cancer. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you see people with that mentality, like they're fighting and stuff, you're not thinking that cancer just means, oh yeah, people's just gonna die. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even though a lot of people are passing away from it, I wonder if a lot of people are passing away from cancer upon the news.
Because you have to understand as well, and it's something that I've learned. If you go to the doctors and they say you have this or you have that, the more you think that, oh my gosh, this is what I've got, mentally, you're already destroying yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because
Start
you're
accepting
believing.
it. Start accepting
it's like
it.
I used to say to my boys, I said, if they say something to you, no matter what it is, so don't accept it. What are you talking about? I said, no, certain things you don't accept for your life. Because the Bible says there's life and death in the tongue. So there's some things I won't accept.
That's it.
You have to understand in life, we are going to go through things. There are going to things that for us as humans, it's not going to make sense. However, I believe that in the midst of it not making sense, God is still working it out.
100%.
And it does make sense.
100%. Marie, we want to encourage the wonderful listeners today
Yes.
that whatever type of grief you may be going through due to a bereavement, whether it be recent or it's taken, or it's been long ago, we want to encourage you in faith. Yeah.
That you can
and
overcome.
Yes,
Can
overcome.
I just share something quickly as well? Is that I experienced a bereavement 18 years ago. Never forget it. And up to this day, because it would be 18 years, I never forget. However, I never allowed it. This is just my experience.
Yeah.
Yes, I had my times where I did mourn and I did grieve. I did. And even sometimes as the years has gone on, as I clearly said, it's been 18 years.
Yeah.
I will have a reminder, and it's, you know, you have a moment of reflecting.
That's right.
But what I've done is I allowed that to continue to push me into my purpose.
That's right.
And from my grief that I experienced 18 years ago, I also have a business in that name of the grief that I experienced.
Yes.
So
yes.
that is where I kind of channeled it. Now, I'm not saying that I don't feel it at times. I do. But you know what? There's some things that only God can give an answer to.
Yeah.
And I've accepted that.
Yeah.
So I would just choose to just be grateful that I'm still here. I've got my other 3 children and I'm still here today. So, of course, it doesn't matter how long, you know, you experience this bereavement, you're always going to feel it. But at the same time, you'll have to find a way to just continue to keep on and not allow it to deflate you in any way, shape or form.
Turn your pain into power.
Yeah.
Turn your pain into power.
But saying that now, so we are aware that in the life we live in, we may lose someone, as well as we all know we have an, what's the word, expiry date on our life as well.
Yeah.
What are we having in place for the future?
Oh, Larry.
Because in the past, we would hear about, you see, when I was like younger, because I'm still young now.
Still young,
Like
man,
you would
come
have
on.
like people come and say to you, oh, do you have like a funeral plan? And in my mind, I'm thinking, bro, like I'm young, man. Like, I don't even need to think about that right now. Like I've got many years from now.
Many.
Many years. And as you can see, they're actually falling quite young at the moment. Then I said, do you have life insurance? Do you have a bit of savings? And you're thinking, I still got time.
To accumulate.
And as I said at the beginning of the show, when I was younger, you're having loads of weddings and family gathering. But as I've become older, we're attending, or you're hearing more funerals and people passing, or may have to come away from work because they're recovering. So what do we have in place for these unexpected events when they do happen? Because in the time we're living in now, as you can see, everything in the shops has gone sky high. You know, I went into a food shop the other day, today. I said, let me just get a bun and cheese. And they said to me, £3.50. I said, hold
the
on.
bun? Or the cheese?
The bun and the cheese.
Oh, you mean a bun and cheese
Yeah.
that's made already? Oh, I thought
But
you meant
then-
actuals, like the actual long
I
bun.
thought, but the little small spice bun, I said it's £1. You get 2 for like 120 in the shop. And I know that slice of cheese probably would be like, yeah. I said, yeah, that's too much money for that little thing. And I know if I bought it from bought the ingredients, I could have had loads for that amount. However, what are we having in place going forward?
What are we having in place?
Some of
going
us have
forward?
children. Some of us have grandchildren. You may not have either. However, we don't always have that rich relative that we can say, let me phone Uncle John or Auntie Winsome, because they have the bag of money. At the moment, everybody is feeling it now. So what are we having in place for ourselves if these events were to happen to us? Or are we going to leave the burden on our children who are still actually could be finding their way? So Jordan, would you like to expand on that for us? You know, food for thought for our beautiful listeners.
It's food for thought. It's food for thought. Because the truth is, and Marie, I just salute you still, because we're exploring now the responsibility side of things and the accountability side that we all have to have as adults. You know, we get up, you know, we go out to the supermarket or shops or whatever, or maybe you order your shopping to your house. But you need to eat, so you're buying food. Do you know what I mean? You need something to wear, so you buy clothes. You know what I mean? You need to travel, so you have a mode of transport. You know what I mean? Or you use public transport or what have you, or you walk. the fact is we're moving about, yeah, and no one ever thinks that something that could happen on a single day could influence the rest of their life. Yeah, people don't think like that a lot because they're probably just too busy thinking about the day to day, but not thinking about the future. So, as we're on the theme of well-being, I mean, we want to encourage everyone to think ahead.
Yes.
Think big. Yeah, think ahead and think big. Now, in this segment of the show, we're going to be talking about like financial planning. You know, we're going to be talking about what looks like
We have a message.
We've got a few messages actually come through. Yeah, we're trying to get. All right. Let me have a look.
Sorry, listeners. It's just that today the print is slightly
smaller. Yeah.
than normal.
Let's have a little look. So I'm gonna look on the. Oh
On
yeah.
this
So
one
we got yeah. So is that the live? That's the Insta Live. Yeah. Yeah. So on the Insta Live, I've got hi Marie, Sharon here. Hello everyone. So you got a Sharon here, Marie.
Hi, Sharon.
We got Sabrina. She said, I had a major loss, and one of the most important things it taught me is once you learn to accept the things you can't change, you will be able to conquer a lot of things in life. I live by this. Yeah, I hear that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that, Sabs.
Yeah, thank you.
Very, very serious. Very serious.
And I know that comment, I know that's coming from someone who, you know, they say who feels it knows it.
Yeah. Major loss, she said. Major loss. And it's deep, and it's a process that, you know.
As I said, you know, this is not like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. This is like a lifetime that you have to live with that void, the impact, that relationship that you had with that individual that is no longer there. You can have like different events that can happen in your life, and you're like, oh, such and such was there. It was just like the other day when we was getting ready for the Chef Ricardo, and we was getting all our pictures together to do our promo, and even I said, she's like, this is like where like your brother-in-law stepped in like last time, isn't it? I was like,
oh yeah. I know what you. Yeah. So yeah, Marie's talking about when we were trying to get the promo together for our episode of Chef Ricardo that was last week.
Yeah.
Usually I would call my brother to be like, all right, cool. Can you do the graphics for us? Can you like? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can create a flyer, a logo, you know, a
and
reel. He can do all of this kind of stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's something that he'd just get on with like really fast.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh gosh, who am I gonna call now? And there's loads of people that we can call because there's loads of graphic designers, people who do logos, people who do, you know, moving graphics and animation and all sorts of stuff. But we don't know them to that extent where we can just pick up the phone and then he's just like, all right,
what, give me like 10, 15 minutes and I'll get back to you.
What is it you and Marie want then?
Yeah.
And then like that's what was going on. And then when we needed him the other day, he wasn't there to do that. Do you know what I mean? So it was just like, oh my gosh, do you know what I mean? But
and we know on that show he would have been excited.
Oh, cool. Because even from when I first told Chef Ricardo like what he was going through about 3 months ago. So yeah, Chef Ricardo was just like trying to encourage and whatever. And you know what I mean? And I wanted them to meet kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just unfortunate that the circumstance went that way and then like they didn't get to meet. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, bruv. Do you know what I mean? But I'm only saying that because I know he was using some of Chef Ricardo's remedies and recipes to help combat, you know, what he was dealing with within his body. Do you know what I mean? So it's deep. But moving on now, in the show, we're gonna, as Marie said, talk a bit more about the planning ahead and thinking
Yes.
big. Yeah. We were gonna go into that straight away, but we didn't want to leave out, the comments and the engagement that we're
Yes.
getting, because
Because we appreciate
we
that.
appreciate
Yes, we
our
do. Thank you.
engagement. Yeah. So I used to work in insurance, and I'm talking about personal insurances. Yeah, personal protection. That was where I specialized. So I ended up meeting a lot of clients. I ended up seeing so many people, helping so many people, and educating people about the products that are out there to help them. Yeah. So I learned a lot. And the other reason why it meant so much to me is because, like I said just now, I had a mild heart attack at 24, and it made me reflect. And I will use myself as an example as I explain some of the stuff that I, know. Now, unfortunately, there are some communities out there within the UK who have no clue about personal protection existing, let alone what it can do to help them.
So would you like to define
Yes.
what personal protection is?
Yes.
So
yes,
that
yes,
our
yes.
beautiful listeners can get
Yes.
an insight into
Yes.
what that really entails.
What it entails.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, you have a mobile phone. Some people will insure that. People have a vehicle, have a car, a motorbike. You insure that. You know, your TV, your laptop, the electronics, your devices. People
Washing
insure.
machine.
You insure.
Those mothers and fathers out there.
Oh, come
Yes,
on.
that washing machine.
Yeah, washing
Yeah.
machines insured. People got jewelry. You know what I mean? You got your watches, your Rolex. Like, yeah, you're gonna cover those things. Yeah. Hand in hand with that, a lot of the time people will have security. Why do you have security? Because it's gonna provide protection. Yeah. So people will have things in place to protect themselves. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
So why is it that we protect all of our devices, we protect our vehicles, our mobiles, everything, our homes, but we don't protect ourselves financially?
So would you say that we've made an effort, some of us, not all of us,
Some of us.
we've made an effort to make sure that our material possessions we have insured just in case if anything was to happen, so we could either get paid out for it to be repaired, or just so that if anything happens, we can be compensated to some degree.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's what happens. So let's say, for example, the first thing I'll talk about in terms of insurance, and then I'll talk about insurance, then I'll talk about funeral plan, then I'll talk about just thinking big in general. Yeah, that's what I'll do to whiz through this because we ain't got much time. So I'll start with what you call IP. Yeah, that's income protection. Income protection. If you are employed, you have an income. If you are self-employed, you have an income.
Okay.
What people will do is they want to insure their income.
So how do you do that?
So what you would do, you would get a policy, yeah? Your insurer will give you a policy that covers your income in the event that you're unable to work due to illness or injury most of the time. Because if people can't work, they're probably injured. If they can't work, they're probably ill. Yeah? Now, what happens if you don't have income protection and you don't have any savings, but you've got a serious injury or you've become seriously ill and there's nothing protecting your income? The money that you have in your bank account will only last so long if you don't have savings, I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. If we're talking about, all right, cool, you've got paid, yeah, and your paycheck is able to cover you for a month or 2 months. If you're living, say, for example, paycheck to paycheck, if anything happens to your body, that's it. Like, what's gonna happen? Because your bills are not gonna stop because you
No, they're
got
still
a bad
gonna
leg.
come. Yeah.
You got a bad leg.
Yeah.
Your bills are not gonna stop. They're gonna come out. Do you think you're gonna tell your landlord or
Oh, sorry, I can't
your
pay this month,
council
you know?
or
I'll do it
like,
next month.
yeah, you're not paying your mortgage because you injured your leg and you can't go to work?
They're not hearing that.
They're not hearing that. People insure their incomes, so that's the first thing people would usually do.
So
Yeah?
when you insure your income, so God forbid, if an injury happens or you become ill, what happens when you've insured your income? What is the benefits that come from that now?
Right. So you'd have, like, say, let's say, for example, you might have 4 weeks sick pay from your company. Yeah. If you have a job and they'll give you 4 weeks sick pay. Yeah. Or it might be 3 months, for example, depending. Yeah. Some people are working in places that give no sick pay.
Yeah.
But people don't read that bit in the contract a lot of the time, you know, because they're too busy just trying to just sign the contract. Yeah. So let's say, for example, 1 month. Yeah. Your workplace will pay you for 1 month if you're off sick. But due to your injury, you need to be off for 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said before, you're gonna be struggling when the money that you have has run out, because you're not going to be able to work until month 6,
Yes. So that's
maybe
like,
even month 7.
Yeah.
But your workplace have only paid you for 1 month, so what's happening to all your bills for 7 months, for example? Do you know what I mean? So you insure your income so that you set a time with your insurer for when you want your sick pay, your income protection, I mean, to kick in.
Okay. So
So-
do they take like anything from you each month to cover that?
Exactly. So then you'd pay usually a monthly premium, just
Okay.
like how you would pay for your car insurance on a monthly premium if you don't pay for it annually. Do you know what I mean? So your income protection will cost you a certain amount of money per month, yeah, to give you a certain sum. So I'll give you an example. Okay, well, before I give you an example, the more money you need to cover your expenses and your living costs, the more your premium will be. So let's say
So
for
the more you pay, it's probably the more you would get out if you have
Yeah.
to use the policy.
precisely.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, you have bills that are amounting to £2,000 per month, for example. Yeah, that's just your bills. Yeah, and your food and your living costs, your living expenses. Yeah. So you're saying to your insurer, I'm gonna need £2,000 a month to keep my head above water, for example. That £2,000 a month will cost a certain amount. If you say to them, do you know what? I'll prefer to have £1,000 because at least I know that's covering my mortgage or that's covering this, or
Yes,
do you know what I mean? You don't have to. You decide what you will want to pay, kind of thing. In the event that if you can't work due to injury or illness, they're gonna pay that once your sick pay is done. Some people don't have. They call that a deferred period. Some people won't even have that deferred period. They'll be like, if I'm sick, I want that money to kick in straight away. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
So it would depend on your insurer, but not all insurance providers provide like that. No deferred period. It will usually be like a month, for example. So there's some that will have a set amount, for example, that they might say pay £1,500 a month. Yeah. So your premium will pay you £1,500 a month if you're sick or injured, and that will be like with a sick note, from your
from
your
your
doctor.
GP.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, or the hospital, or it depends.
It's
but
like it's proof
it's
of-
proof to say that you're off work. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
Therefore, they need to now release the funds.
Yes.
You know, but you're making a claim though. Do you know what I mean? That's actually, you're now making a claim. So you might have that running for like say 12 months to say that, for example, they will pay you that $2,000 a month for 12 months. They'll pay you that $4,000 a month for 12 months, depending. Do you know what I mean? So these are the things that you have to decide with your insurer. Do you know what I mean? But that one there is what keeps everything safe in that regard, because let's say, for example, now you don't have income protection, but then you've got life insurance, for example. If something happens to you and you're sick or you're injured, and you've got life insurance premiums coming out, and that might be £100 a month, you're gonna start thinking, boy, I might have to cancel the life insurance. You know, I might have to cancel. I might have to cancel Netflix, because now your income is compromised. You might not be able to pay your life insurance £100 a month.
Yeah.
But that's not something that you really want to be cancelling if you've had that policy for a long time. You might not get that price ever again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Worse if something's happened to you in the meantime, like you got sick, for example. Yeah, like that's gonna affect when you're trying to get a new policy out.
Okay.
Life insurance, for example, works opposite to like how we do car insurance. When you're a new driver, your premium is going to be way higher than if you are an experienced driver. Yeah, because
years on
with
your
years on your
license.
license, you know what I mean, and you've been a good driver, you know what I mean, they're like, that person isn't a risk, for example. Do you know what I mean? Life insurance works opposite to that. So with life insurance, the younger you are, the cheaper it is, because you're less risky to them.
Yes.
To insure an 18-year-old, they'll be chucking 200 grand at them. Yeah, for example, like on, you know, the premium, because they're like, well, he's 18, like spring chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're 65,
that's
you're a
gonna-
smoker,
That's hard,
yeah,
that's higher.
like diabetes, like, you know what I mean? Been in that hospital.
Because they will see it as
like,
that you're more likely to draw for that policy sooner rather than later.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that premium that you're paying a month is not going to be anything like that 18-year-old who's healthy. Your premium is going to be like, yeah. And on top of that, like the sum that you're going to get paid out for your life insurance is going to be very little. Like it's going to be a lot, but you're going to be paying a lot of money each month only to get a certain amount of money, which is low. Do you know what I mean? So, but imagine if, for example, something happens to you. Imagine you lose your income because you're ill, God forbid, yeah? And then your illness becomes terminal, and then you're gone in 6 months, for example. But because you didn't have any income protection, protecting your income, you had to cancel your life insurance.
Yeah.
And then you've cancelled it, and then you become terminally ill, for example. You're not, when you're terminally ill, you're not going to get an insurer. So
No, because you're a risk.
you're a risk.
Because within no time you're going to have to pay out.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So then,
and
with
if you
that-
haven't put enough in,
yeah.
you can't expect to get a big return back.
So with that being said, it's like you could have had your insurances all in place, everything was going fine, got ill, cancelled your life insurance, pass away, and then where does that leave the family? But income protection, for example, could have solved all of that.
Yes.
Because your income would have been protected. So a lot of people who are self-employed, they love income protection. Because they're not answering to no boss.
Yes.
Yeah, and looking at, oh, how much sick pay do I get? Because you're not getting sick pay, you're self-employed.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? So they're thinking, if I'm sick or I'm injured, I'm gonna need it. So people who are self-employed, they really do cherish the income protection. For example, let me move on a bit quicker, yeah, because what I'm trying to talk about is what problems these insurances solve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at critical illness cover. Critical illness cover now, or life with critical illness cover, for example, critical illness cover it's upon diagnosis that they pay you out. So let's say, for example, someone is Joe Blogs, healthy person and stuff like that. They've got a critical illness cover in place. Yeah, their NHS records are clean. They ain't got nothing to be concerned about. They're with Aviva, for example. Yeah, Aviva are giving them a policy. Let's say that person's earning like 30 grand a year, for example. Aviva will say, well, if you were diagnosed with a critical illness, like how many years off work would you want? Oh yeah, I think 2 will be all right, for example. They will obviously liaise and have the best advice given to them. And let's say, for example, due to their affordability, they could have 2 years worth of salary, which would amount to £60,000, because remember they earn 30k.
Yes.
Aviva's saying, oh yeah, you can have 60k if you're ever critically ill. God forbid, but then Joe Blogs has got diagnosed with Joe Blogs has got diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
Yeah. Upon diagnosis of the cancer, he gets paid out the 60k upon diagnosis. Yeah. So he don't have to think about going to work and all that kind of stuff, because he's got 60 quid sat there now. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, yeah, like I might need to go abroad. I might need to this, or I might need to, you know what I mean? Might need to try and find the best solution to deal with the critical illness, because not all critical illnesses are terminal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So can get diagnosed with a critical illness, but then be able to recover.
Sometimes you might just need to come out of the country, or the environment that you're in, take a trip and do a bit of detoxing, natural.
Exactly.
Come out of the pollution.
There's other solutions.
Herbs,
That's right.
spices.
There's other solutions.
Yeah.
But that costs money to do that.
Yes.
Imagine if Joe Blogs didn't have savings to start off with, how are they just going to get up and go somewhere to start detoxing? They might not even have the money for the flight, for example, especially in this cost of living. You might not have money for flight and accommodation. And the best you might be able to do is a week. But you ain't detoxed enough in a week with what's going on within Joe Blogs' body.
No, you're going to need longer than that.
You need longer than that.
Yeah.
So, again, that's upon diagnosis that's happened. Do you know what I mean? That they get paid out, for example. Do you know what I mean? So, the whole idea is to protect you in the event of the unexpected. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you'd have an income protection, because it's like, well, do you know what? I need to protect my income in the event of an unexpected thing, so that my income is protected. That we're not going down under.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to get evicted now. Do you know what I mean? Because your income is protected, your bills are them still paid, and you know what I mean, until you're recovered. Do you know what I mean? Cool. Your life insurance. Do you know what I mean? You have that in place. Because it's just like, all right, if this happens and, you pass away unexpectedly, who is burying you if you don't have...
Yeah.
Because that's when, like, people start having, like, crowdfunding and stuff like that to start helping the family start burying them. Do you know what I mean?
And burial, when someone passes away, to bury them, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about... like in our community, especially as a Caribbean, we're not talking about the night.
No,
we're not
no.
talking about the party after the funeral.
No.
We're talking about the plot.
Yeah.
We're talking about the plot. That's more than an all-inclusive holiday to Jamaica. 5-star.
Yeah. The plot, just the to go to, like, in South London, like, you're looking at like 11 grand, 13 grand, 7 grand, like, for a whole, just for the rectangle.
And
like,
I've heard as well that there's a new thing that they've been doing. It's not so new, but in some cemeteries they have tombs, and the tombs can be slightly more as well.
Yeah.
Especially if the tomb could be for, like for maybe yourself and a partner, or you might
The
have
double.
Yes, a double one.
Yeah.
So it varies.
It
And I think
varies.
is it the ground is more cheaper than the tombs?
Yeah.
And then not thinking about just putting you in the ground, you got to think about the coffin.
Yeah.
Because even when somebody may choose for cremation, just for the body to be in the coffin, you have to pay for that.
Got to pay for that.
Yeah.
This is none of the extras of the funeral.
No.
Like,
These are standard.
this is the standard. It's not the family cars. It's not the doves that you want to let off.
No.
Like, it's none of these stuff. Like, this it costs thousands and thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, you don't have income protection, for example, and you don't cover your income. You don't have life insurance. You don't have a critical illness cover. A funeral plan is something to look at, to then be like, do you know what? If anything happened, at least I know they can bury me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you see, now it's like I'm getting a bit because I don't have time to really leverage it and go into the depths of it. But like the middle class community are not being educated about this stuff from the insurance agents. It's being passed down like in their family because they have assets. They got houses. So imagine they pass away and give houses. Yeah? Like they give houses. And then they pass away and then 2 million life insurance is getting let off on the kids.
Yeah.
For example, that's on one parent. Oh, mummy's gone too. Oh, yep. Then that's another 2 mil. That's another 3 mil. That's another 500k. That's whatever, policy they've put in place. For example, do you know what I mean? There's things like that that's happening. So imagine your family member, if you're middle class, your family member is passing away, your granddad's passing away and all that kind of stuff. That's a house to your dad. That's this, that's that. Your aunt has got a house. Like, you lot got, like, there's a lot of
Your
stuff
kids, and they were only like 5. I've got a house.
They're inheriting a house.
Yeah, you're
all
all
that kind
like
of stuff.
renting it out just to make it income.
We're talking about paid off houses. Paid off houses are being passed down into the family, and then the life insurance is letting off like a 2 mil. If you want to start a business and it costs you 100 bags and you think, oh, it might fail, so you got 2 mil there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then, like in our community now, someone passes away. Oh no! Oh dear! Because no one's got a funeral. Not no one. Let me not say no one. Sorry, but not a lot of people have a funeral plan. Not a lot of people have a critical illness cover that could have paid them like a 60 grand or 100 grand, like when they got cancer, for example. Like that's why they're still alive. At least you can touch the 100 grand. Some people don't have the life insurance, so it's like they pass away. They're not leaving their children with anything. It's like you're gone, your income's gone. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gone and now you're leaving the kids with money, and up until they're, no longer your responsibility. For example, do you know what I mean? So there's so many. I wish I had time to really go into it.
Do you know what we're going to do
we're gonna have to go into
listeners?
it. Yeah, we're going to have to really go into it.
What Jordan is discussing is very important and very informative. And unfortunately, in our community, this is knowledge that is not necessarily passed on to many of us.
Yeah.
So I believe what we're going to have to do, Jordan, we're going to have to do a part 2 because this is so much wealth and knowledge that you're bringing.
We're going to have to go into it.
I would have liked you to be able to at least probably give some suggestions of where they could begin to start do a bit of research to look as well. So I think next week we'll probably follow up on this. Definitely we'll follow up on this.
Definitely, because there's so much to it, like to help our community with, because it's like, our community, like a lot of people don't know about income protection. Like, before we wrap up, I'll just say
especially for like people, because nowadays a lot of people are becoming self-employed. And some people would, I've never heard of that. And I think like next week when we go into a bit more, Jordan, then we can open the lines because our listeners may want to even ask you some questions.
Exactly.
And I would just say, if you don't even have any of the policies that Jordan has spoken about, no matter how old you are, it's never too late. As long as you're alive, it's better to have something than nothing.
Exactly.
But next week, we will definitely continue from here because I think this is very important, especially in the days that we're living in now and all the different things which are happening. So definitely next week, if you tune in to Evening Talks, we will definitely go into more, and we'll also open the lines for you to call in.